It's the state's understanding that Mr. Feiner and Ms. Crater, formerly Lane, are in agreement on the issues. They agree that the child Bellamy is currently on government medical through the mother, and testimony will be that Mr. Feiner is in the process of enrolling the child on his ChampVA. However, he was given well, not really a time frame, so we're asking that this be a temporary order with government medical ordered, and we return on August 13th. Hopefully, we'll have information at that point about the child's enrollment. The state was seeking cash medical support in the amount of $175, Your Honor. But parents may have additional requests, and I'll elicit that testimony. With regard to child support, Your Honor, the state had calculated based on Mr. Feiner's 100% disability award that it should be $740 each month. However, testimony from the parties will be that for a while there, the state was not actively involved in their case, and Mr. Feiner was paying her directly $350 a month rather than the $328 that was the prior order. And so I believe that a deviation is requested at this point, Your Honor. Additionally, when it comes to the arrears on the case, it was only child support, and the state was wanting to confirm the full $27,771.26 as of yesterday. And the state has no objection to Ms. Lane, I believe, wanting that full amount released based on testimony that Mr. Feiner has again made those direct payments to her over the years. The only other thing, Your Honor, besides a determination of what this order shows for health coverage and the cash medical amount, as well as whether child support is deviated at all, is just a reminder to the parties that so long as this is an active case where the Attorney General is involved, we do need payments to come through the state disbursement unit, not directly. And again, this is one of those, please do that. And we understand there's an inconvenience, so make plans if you can.
Ashley, April Crater.
And ma'am, when was the last time you were Lane?
2019.
And as far as going forward, ma'am, you'd ask this court to take notice of that legal name and have all documents reflect currently Ashley April Crater.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is the child in this case?
Bellamy Feiner.
How are you related to Bellamy?
I'm her mother.
And ma'am, who is Bellamy's father?
Alec Feiner.
Were you able to hear my opening statement, Ms. Crater?
Yes, ma'am.
Were those the facts as you understood them and the relief we were all seeking today?
Yes, ma'am.
At this point, ma'am, how does Bellamy have health coverage?
I have her on Medicaid right now.
And you did understand that the state was wanting cash medical support from Mr. Feiner so long as there isn't another source in effect for her?
Yes, ma'am.
And then as far as the child support amount, ma'am, you're familiar with your prior order from 2017 that had Mr. Feiner paying you child support of $328 per month?
Yes, ma'am.
At some point, ma'am, the state was no longer actively involved in your case, and the two of you had direct payments being sent. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the amount that was sent?
$350
How often did you receive that?
every month. He was never late.
And so, ma'am, as far as the state's financial activity report, which was sent to you and I believe was attached to our pleading, you were aware that the state shows Mr. Feiner in arrears of the $27,771.26.
Yes, ma'am.
And so your request today, ma'am, is to go ahead and have that actually reflect zero based on the direct payments you've received for all of these years.
Yes, ma'am.
And then going forward, ma'am, as far as adjusting child support based on Mr. Feiner's income, which the state believes to be non-taxable due to his VA award and no other children besides Bellamy, you understand the state had calculated that to be $740?
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as a request for the child support going forward, ma'am, was I correct in telling the court that you'd like it to consider a deviation based on what the two of you have been doing?
Yes, ma'am.
So in addition to the monthly $350 you get from Mr. Feiner, is there anything in addition he pays for Bellamy?
He gets her whatever she needs. If I need extra to get her anything, he does help. He's never said no. He's always been supportive of helping her.
How old is Bellamy right now?
9.
And does she have any special activities or things that she needs besides what a regular 9-year-old would?
No, ma'am.
And then as far as her health, ma'am, would you call her a healthy child?
Oh, yes.
And then as far as the health coverage that you believe will soon become available to Mr. Feiner, you haven't gotten any type of timeline, have you?
No.
But as far as us coming back in August on the 13th, hopefully everything is squared away at that point.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there anything else, Ms. Crater, you wanted the court to consider at this time?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, state offers into evidence that State's Exhibit 1, so it is in evidence.
Sorry. That's not there. All right, folks, this is State Exhibit number 1. This is the financial activity report for the child support at this time. Is there any legal reason this should not come into evidence, Ms. Crater?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Mr. Feiner, any objection, sir?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, stage 1 submitted. You may proceed, Ms. Von Gatten.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state actually passes, Ms. Crater, Your Honor.
Ma'am?
All right. I'll thank you. Now I got a couple of questions then, Ms. Crater. All right then, ma'am. Again, I understand your circumstances. Yeah, this is Mr. Feiner's been a great dad in this circumstance. He's obviously he's ahead of the game on this, and so I'm looking to give it some credit for that also. But ma'am, is there a specific amount that you're again the law says I'm supposed to look at doing a certain amount, and I can deviate somewhat based on circumstances or unique circumstances? Obviously, yours is unique circumstances. A unique circumstance. Is what amount would you be requesting, ma'am, going forward as far as the child support amount, ma'am?
We would like it to stay at 350.
Okay, ma'am, that's a little problematic. You know, that's 50% of what it should be, and I understand he is providing extra. So, I'll hear his testimony before I'll make a final decision on all that, sir, ma'am. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then. I'll be back in just a moment, ma'am. You may call your next witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Alec Feiner. Sir, what is your full name?
My full name is Alec Michael Feiner, ma'am.
And sir, how are you related to Bellamy?
I am her father.
And you are also the person, sir, who was previously ordered to pay child support in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you agree, sir, that the prior order had you paying $328 a month beginning in January or in 2017, excuse me?
Yes, ma'am.
And since then, sir, the case became a registry only where my office wasn't actively involved. And is it correct that you and the mother were directly paying $350 a month rather than that $328?
Yes. My last marriage, she was put on private health insurance, and so we switched to just me paying her privately, and I paid her $350 a month.
Okay. And since roughly September of 2018, sir, have there been any issues, late or missed payments to Ms. Crater?
No, that's the first thing I pay every month is child support.
And were you able to hear my opening statement to the court earlier?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Were those the facts as you understood them and the requests that the three of us were making to the court today?
Yes, ma'am, it sounded accurate.
And then, sir, as far as Ms. Crater's testimony, were you able to hear all of it?
Yes, I was, ma'am.
Was there anything she testified to that you disagreed with?
No.
And sir, as far as putting your daughter on the ChampVA, were you given any type of timeline?
It was between 6 and 8 months, according to the Texas Veterans Commission. I went through them because I asked them to expedite reviewing Bellamy's form. I submitted a form, VA Form 1010 Delta, which is the application form, and the Texas Veteran Commission representative that I spoke to said it could be anywhere between 6 and 8 months, and to try to call ChampVA, and their phone lines don't even function properly, so I don't have an exact timeline of when that's supposed to be finalized.
When did you submit the application?
I want to say, I don't know the exact date, but it was late 2023. I want to say around August or September, after my credit report reflected that I was 27,000 or $20,000 in arrears.
And sir, until then, you're comfortable with Ms. Crater maintaining the government medical for her and paying some amount of cash medical support if the court deems it appropriate?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the amount that my office calculated, sir, that 175, did you have a problem or other request for the court?
No, ma'am. The only other thing that I'd ask the court to consider is Ashley, the mother, lives, it's like 25 miles from the house. I mean, we're about 25 miles apart. I try to make it a point to do most of the traveling back and forth, picking her up and bringing her back. So I'll just ask the court to consider that as well, the fuel costs, and all of the maintenance required in keeping my vehicle up and running. Even we're doing homeschool now because the cost of gas was a lot added on. But if she does have to go back, I primarily bring her back and forth to school for 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. That's how we've split our custody. It's where I have her for 2 weeks, she has her for 2 weeks. So for that entire 2 weeks and moving back and forth, I'm primarily the one that drives unless there's some crazy circumstance where I can't travel.
And sir, that arrangement for time that you each have with her, was that already set up in the 2015 order?
No, it was the standard custody order. We've just become more amicable over the years, and it's more stable for Bellamy in our circumstance for us to have her for longer periods of time, and allows us to plan trips or anything else that we need to do. And even if, she has family come visit or I have family come visit, it's not like, well, it's my 2 weeks, you can't have her. I mean, we bring her back and forth for anything. I mean, it's pretty open.
Okay. And then you're aware of the reason for our reset to August 13th and our agreement to coming back that day, sir?
Yes, it's to hopefully have confirmation from ChampVA that she's been established on their system and we can take her off of the government healthcare.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Feiner, you wanted the court to consider?
No, ma'am, I think that about covers it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, I pass this witness.
All right, anything else at this time, Mr. Feiner?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Crater, anything else, ma'am?
No, sir, thank you.
All right, Ms. Bungott, any other witness, anything else?
No other witnesses, Your Honor, and the state rests.
All right, folks, yeah, y'all definitely got a unique circumstance working here. The custody stuff, all that, none of that was pled for, so the only thing I can deal with is the child support portions of all this. And I'm going to do a couple of things here. First off, sir, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the judgment, the unpaid child support, and this time the mother has granted forgiveness of that. So as of today's date or the last day of last month, whatever the state wants to use, I'm taking that down to 0 thanks to forgiveness. I'm going to go ahead and modify the current child support. I'm looking at making it in conformity with the family code. So I am going to have to raise it some, folks. I'm going to go ahead and order, you're paying $350. I got to take it up at least $100. So I'm going to order new child support at $450 a month to start in the first day of June coming up. And I'm going to order cash medical instead of the $175. I'm going to go ahead, since this is allowed to only be a temporary, hopefully only be a temporary order. I'm gonna go ahead and just order the dad to pay $75 a month on the cash medical. I'm gonna do a reset and come back on that. Hopefully, y'all live close enough y'all live close to each other, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
All right, then. So hopefully that'll work out. I'm like with the ChampVA. ChampVA has been problematic with the civilian side of it for years, sir. They was problematic when I was in law school, and I ended up saying, my dad just ended up going, use TRICARE and never and forget ChampVA. Okay, I don't need it. Because he was military retired also. So, but again, ma'am, sir, if y'all get it set up, ma'am, see if it covers everything. Do not stop that other health insurance until you know it's going to cover everything that you need to at a cost that's affordable to you. So until then, I'm gonna order you to maintain the health insurance, ma'am, and like I say, I'm just gonna order him to repay that at $75 a month instead of $175. I'm gonna go ahead and like I said, order current child support going forward at $450 a month. And hopefully, like I said, sir, you can use that extra money to go ahead and open up a 529 for her college education. Because I looked it up, Maryland law this year is going to cost $64,000, and she's a long way. She's 10 years away from that, so that's a lot of money for 1 year of law school, guys. So yeah, get ready. It's not going to be fun. So yeah, the cost of a Tahoe for 1 year of law school, I love it. There you go. Anyway, folks, y'all doing a great job. I'm waiving court costs due to military service and the fact that you've done everything you're supposed to. I think that covers it. So like I say, unpaid child support 0, current child support going forward, 450, cash medical going forward 75, and everything else is per the final the other order, because that's I can't modify it because it wasn't requested the modification of it. So I'll start with you, Mr. Feiner. Questions, sir?
My only further question, Your Honor, was my vehicle was not able to be re-registered because of the arrears. Once that's set to 0, will I be able to go and immediately register it? Because it's up this month.
All right, then. Well, hopefully it will, sir. This is going to be placed on the system as soon as possible. But that's covered by an Austin office down in Austin. I'll have Ms. Bongak go back into a breakout room with you and see about talking to her about that. That doesn't come through me. That comes through the administrative process. That's good old state capital of Texas. So hopefully she can tell you how to make sure that and confirm that that's being taken care of. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Next question, sir. Any other questions, sir?
No, Your Honor, that's it. Thank you.
All right, and going forward, sir, make sure you pay through the state disbursement unit. That way, ma'am, I know it's an inconvenience, but there's electronic means that you can pay by that speeds things up instead of sending in a check or something like that. I don't think anybody uses checks anymore. I bought 400 5 years ago, and I still think I got 200 of them left. So yeah, nobody does that. So MoneyGram, which is the Western Union version of it, payments. They're at every Walmart, every CVS pharmacy, and they only charge something like $2 or $3 instead of what they normally charge to transfer money, because this is child support, and so it's cheaper than a money order, and the money gets there immediately. And you can also do it online, sir. So there's all kinds of ways of getting that done also to make sure, and you'll get an electronic receipt along with everything else. And those are worth their weight in gold, because in case the state disbursement unit makes a mistake, you got something to say, hey, I sent it. That's on you guys now. All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Crater, questions, ma'am? Anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
We're off the record. Thank you.
We had just come back to Levelland, and I had nowhere to stay at that time, so they stayed with their dad. And their dad is, a nice way to put it would be, an alcoholic. And him and his new significant other were drunk, staying in their bedroom all the time, and their bedroom is upstairs. They were allowing my 18-year-old son to sleep on the same couch under the same blanket with a 14-year-old girl.